Hey PreAlgebra, that other video was getting a little bit long that I started with multiplying and dividing, so I'm going to pick it up here. So here, what if I have more than two things? Well, multiply left to right, just like our order of operations says. So negative 9 times 8 is going to be 72, but since they're mixed signs, this gets a negative, according to our rules above. Mixed signs becomes negative, same sign becomes positive, is the real boiled down way to do this. Now that's just these two, and now I'm going to multiply by negative 2. So when I do that, I'm going to end up with 144, and negative same sign becomes a positive. Now, technically, since this is all multiplication, you could do it in any order you want. I could do 8 times 2, 8 times negative 2, and then times negative 9. That'd be fine too. So let's go ahead and see that. Negative 9 times 8 times negative 2. Maybe I want to multiply these two numbers first. And I have negative 9 times negative 16, because 8 times 2 is 16, and mixed signs give me a negative. Well, now I need to multiply these out. And when I do that, again, I'm going to end up with 144, and same sign multiplication means I'm going to end up with a plus. If you really wanted to, you could even do the negative 2 times the negative 9 first, and then multiply the 8. You can really multiply these in any order you want. What's going to be important is multiply two numbers by each other first, and then multiply the third number. So, here, let's think about how I would do this. Negative 2 times 9 times negative 5. I'm going to look for compatible numbers. And I like negative 2 and negative 5 because I know 2 times 5 is 10, and that's a nice number to work with. So, negative 2 times negative 5, I can say is 10 with a positive sign on it, because the same sign gives me a positive number. 9 is what's left over, and that's positive. And 9 times 10 is 90. They're both positive, so I end up with a positive number. Now, let's say you don't like that, and you want to go left to right. So let's go ahead and do that. Negative 2 times 9 is going to be 18, and mixed signs gives me a negative. Now I'm going to multiply that by negative 5. Now I have to do 5 times 18, which I'm going to end up with 90. And same signs, negative and negative, are going to give me a positive 90. So, I'll let you try to work on this one. And the answer should be positive 84 if you do it correctly. What if we're dividing integers? Well, dividing and multiplication are pretty much the same rule. Divide by the same sign, you get a positive number. Mixed signs, you're going to get a negative number. So we're just going to divide like there's no signs. We're just going to divide the value by the value. So absolute value of 24 is 24. Absolute value of 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And since they're both positive, we get a positive. So plus and a plus make a plus when I'm multiplying and dividing. Here I have a negative and a negative. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And since I have the same sign, I'm going to end up with a positive number. Negative 24 divided by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And since I have mixed signs and I'm dividing, I'm going to get a negative sign. 24 divided by 3 is 8. I just do the values. And then I look back at the signs. Mixed signs mean I get a negative. So, 8 and 2. When I divide, I get 4. Mixed signs, negative. 360 and 40. Let's get rid of those zeros. Make this easy. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Mixed signs, I get a negative. 72, that's a positive 72. And I have a negative 9. That's a mixed sign. So this time I'm going to do the signs first. I'm going to end up with a negative answer. 72 divided by 9 is 8. So I'm going to get negative 8. 81 divided by 3. That's one I know because I do lots of calculations all the time. You might have to pull out some long division here. You're going to find that that is 27. And since this is a positive and this is a positive, we're going to end up with a positive 27. So now, when we go to evaluate these expressions, notice that I have integers. P is 4, negative 2, and 3. First thing I do is I put all of my integers in, and I'm going to write them in parentheses. So I have P is 4, T is negative 2, and I have P times T, plus P is 4, and I'm going to subtract negative 2, and then I'm going to divide R, which is negative 3. Now, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, my order of operations. I'm going to do grouping symbols first, so I have to do this first. So I have to do what's inside the parentheses first. 4 minus negative 2 is the same thing, remember, as in the last video, as plus a positive. We're really adding the opposite of negative 2. So this is really going to become a positive 6 in here. I have 4 times negative 2 plus 6 divided by 3. This is a times here. I do multiplication and division next because I have no more grouping symbols and no exponents, so I do that left to right. So I'm going to do this one. 4 times 2 is 8, and they have mixed signs, so I'm going to get a negative. This 6 divided by 3 is going to be 2. And now I put this plus sign here. So remember, I do multiplication and division before I do addition. Now I add, and I get a negative 6. So, there's an error here. Did you guys catch it? I lost my negative sign from here to here. So whoopsies, I have this problem wrong. This is really negative 3. This is really negative 2. And this is really negative 10. What that shows us is that it's very easy to lose negative signs. We have to try our best to be accurate to make sure that we're not losing stuff from step to step in our work. This is why I always want you to show your work, because I can see where the negative drops if you make a mistake. And that means I know what your problem was when you didn't get the right answer. And I can see, was it a simple writing mistake, you forgot to drop the negative down, or was it, I didn't know how to do this problem. I wasn't sure of the order of operations. I don't know how to divide a positive and negative. So show me your work so I can get inside your brain and see what's going on. And if it's something as simple as, oops, I forgot to draw the negative down, that happens to all of us from time to time, and I'm not going to heavily penalize that as long as your work is consistent. But if you do it every time there's a negative and you drop it, I know, ooh, there's probably an error here in our thinking. So that's why you need to show me your work. For this next problem, we would do the same thing. We'd plug in the numbers and we would figure it out. And I believe if you do this one right, you're going to end up with negative 36. Alright guys, hopefully this video was real helpful. See you in class.